Unit 15, Joseph Addison, the vision of Mirzah. The vision of Mirzah is noted for showing Addison's imaginative and narrative side, and it has become an inspiration regarding later imitations of Spenser. See, in this prose work, a reader can identify the exit limit of imagination and how imagination is narrated in the language. Such a wonderful essay, The Vision of Mirzah, is written by Joseph Addison, who was born on May 1, 1672, a very famous, celebrated English poet, playwright, essayist, and a journalist. He is known for founding the Spectator magazine along with his friend Richard Steele. The Vision of Mirzah, Pilgrim's Progress are considered to be two of the best allegories examples in literature. Let me explain the critical analysis of the Vision of Mirzah. The essay begins with a beautiful introduction of the unknown character just by the first person narrative. It is assumed that the narrator of this essay, speaking about his experience he had with another unknown person who is considered as the genius man. In this essay, we never happen to know the name of the narrator until we reach a few lines before the conclusion. And it is going to be exciting for the readers to identify the name of the narrator. And I hope most of you can guess the name before the conclusion itself. Further, the narrator started explaining his daily routine work on the particular day is marked as the fifth day of the moon in the sky. He says that there was a practice followed by his ancestors that every fifth day of the moon is taken as an auspicious day when he used to be more devoted and mediating towards God more and more than the previous days. The narrator starts moving towards Baghdad hills just to spend his entire day with devotion and meditations. Just after reaching the hills, he started to engage with the essence of the nature prevailing there and starts praising the birth of human beings. He is getting fused together with the natural sequences of hill, breezy, windy clouds, blissful ambience, huge valleys, and high hills, and with so many things which started forgetting himself. He is completely arrested by the beauty of the nature. And as a result, he just gets out of all his sufferings and worries. And from this, the reader could understand the nature has the power to get relieved out from our sorrows, sufferings, worries, pain, and everything. Meanwhile, he happens to hear some good music that he never heard before, and his attention shifting toward the music playing by somebody in the hills. After noticing by careful consideration, he finds that the music comes from a shepherd-like personality who is engaged in playing the flute by his lips. By attracting towards the music, he started seeking the birthplace of the soulful music. For the very first time, he feels like he is going to depart his soul to heaven, just like the immaculate souls of the good people reaching towards the happy heaven. After receiving the music, he realizes the heavenly tune that departs his soul from earth to heaven. And he is getting very closer. The narrator happens to approach by the old man. So the shepherd is an old man. He gently asks the narrator and brings him to the top of the nearby rock. Just after fixing him safely on the rock, the narrator sees the surrounded area just by the translations of Addison and the exact content of the essay. The vision of Mirzah is presented with lots of emotions and a clear picturization. And I hope you have guessed that narrator is none other but the speaker. And this is the lesson you learn from the narrator. The narrator eyes is filled with the beautiful picturization of nature. The old man looks like a shepherd, but here he considered as a man of wisdom. He says a huge valley and the flow of a tide of water in the first deep observation. By getting the answer of his questions, the genius man clarifies what he all sees is about the matter of philosophy of life. The narrator proceeds by the questions his observation to the genius man. He asks that he is capable of observing the sea tides rising from the picture of mist and disappear to the other end of the mist. Moreover, his question is all about why it happens to arise and disappear in the mist. The genius man says that what he sees is nothing but a part of eternity which he names as time. The part of eternity that is, time is rising in one direction and ends with the other end. The process is preceded by the sun and ends by the sunset. Now the genius man questions to the narrator that if instead he happens to see that sea is submerged into the state of darkness, what happens to sea next? The question in answering by the narrator that he can see the bridge where people used to cross the sea are passing into the next journey of continuity. The man stresses the bridge he sees is symbolized the life of human. Passing after a minute, the narrator keeps counting the arcs through which the bridge is made. He approximately sketches 70 with some more arcs totally randomly, and finally he finds 100 of arcs. The genius slowly explains that the first bridge was standing with the 1,000 of arcs. But because of the striking of certain storm damaged the entire bridge, now it stands still with some 100 of broken arcs. See, the man proceeds. The saddest part he experienced with that bridge is, even though the bridge is not standing with all the 100, but it is standing with some with a stubborn condition. Due to many external hard drives, it became fragile and people traveling on the bridge keeping lost their life randomly. If a certain amount of people started their journey on the bridge, some may lose their journey entirely by clutching into the fragile pitfall of the bridge and disappear into the stream. Very few supposed to reach their expected destination. This exactly reflects life is so alike this bridge seems easier sometimes to cross every many difficulties, but in reality it is not so. By receiving keenly on the words of the genius, the narrator started reacting the present state of his life. He can also witness people falling down from the stream of water and dying mercilessly, which piercing his heart badly. Just turning his attention, the narrator begins by saying that at the same time, life is not at all tough to go through. It is the perception of every human being to take the life as difficult or easy to come. Yes, absolute moral. It is the perception of every human being. They should decide whether they are going to make their life very difficult or they are going to change their life very easy. That should be in the hand of the human being. So the narrator happens to see a lot of birds flying all across the sky with the free usage of the wing. He asked to see something more beyond the range of the sky. The narrator surprisingly happens to witness a huge range of valley with beautiful nature sequences prevailing at there. Therefore, need to be talking special to look at the life as in good motive. Sometimes looking over good perception would be timely turning point of our life. Yes, of course, when one understands their life, that would be the turning point of their life. That would begin a better future for everyone. So from the first vision of Mirzah is essential and then lovely subject to look at the life as an optimistic perception of our life. As by tracing the information on the vision of Mirzah, the above translation is all about the first vision of the ocean. It is supposed to clear that there is a second vision is nearly available. Let us summarize. This text claims to be a manuscript and tells the story of a vision of an allegory of a human existence. Yes, of course, everyone is the narrator and everyone facing the same problem of the narrator. So, I'm sorry. So it happens in everyone's life. So people are traveling and they are actually doing a lot of work actually. Whereby you have bridges, they are like trap doors. So what people has to do, they should open and they should not fall into the waters below. Sometimes as they fall, seek to grasp at anything. Sometimes they come around. So look viciously upward as the fall. There are someone on the bridge who show other weaker travelers onto the platform of the trapdoors. So it is the decision of the people to make their life happy or sad with their understanding. So these are the keywords which help you to understand the reference which I've used in the text, and these are the terminal questions. Thank you.